All right, welcome back to another episode of the ConquerCast. We're here at the Mountain Ops headquarters. I'm with Emily Pereira from Maui Hunting Safaris, and I'm super excited because I've known the Pereira family for I don't know how many years now. It's been quite a few years,
5 or 6 maybe.
5 or 6 years, and Emily's been an ambassador of Mountain Ops for probably about that same time, or
Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of our team members here at Mountain Ops have been sent over to Maui Hunting Safaris to experience what they have to offer. And so a lot of our team here will be super excited to hear this podcast because they know you, they know your parents, they've experienced what you guys have to offer. And for anyone that's ever wanted to hunt over in Hawaii, access deer, pigs, goats, I can't say enough good about this family,
Thank you.
about where they hunt, how they hunt it, their knowledge of the land. Let's talk a little bit about that and some of the favorite hunts. But I want to get into who you are, how you were raised by the incredible parents. They're actually here with Emily. They're just coming through and about to fly out from Salt Lake back to the island.
Yes.
And they've been on a mule deer hunt and had some success. So
Thank
congratulations.
you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
thanks for being here with me today.
This worked out great. So thank you for having
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, I reached out to Emily, I don't know, a few weeks back and just said, hey, I want to do a podcast with you. It's okay if it's remote. I'd prefer to come to Maui to do this.
Yeah.
But we can do it remote, you know. And she said, we'll actually be driving through Salt Lake just in a few weeks. So it worked out really, really well.
Yep.
So yeah, thanks for making the time.
Yes. But yeah, so my family, we own Maui Hunting Safari. Next year is our 25th anniversary, which is
Wow.
crazy because, like, that's really the only thing I know because we started it when I was about 3.
Okay.
And it's flown by, which I feel like is a good thing, which means we're having a lot of fun. And we've welcomed so many people. We like to say it, people arrive as strangers, right? And by the time they leave, our goal is to all feel like a big family. So
Yeah.
we're so blessed to share our beautiful island with people and a part of our island that most people don't get to see.
True.
And be a part of like people's memories, right? That will hopefully last forever.
Yeah, that's so true. So were you born and raised on Maui?
Yep.
And okay. And has the Maui Hunting Safari always been like in that location right there where we hunted?
Yes. So we've had both of those ranches for the last, almost 25 years now. So it basically feels like my backyard. Like I don't know anything different, and I'm so blessed to be able to be there.
Yeah, you said something that show people a side of Hawaii or Maui that they don't typically experience
Yeah.
because the typical visitor to Maui is there for a beach vacation, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I've done that. We've taken my family to Maui, but we were on the other side.
Yeah.
I forget where we're at, like
Probably like Kihei or Lahaina.
go up just past Lahaina. I forget the name of it.
Kanapali.
Kanapali.
Yeah.
Um, and we went and did the road to Hana, and I think we came all the way around.
Yeah.
So we passed by where I would have hunted then the next year with you guys, but not ever knowing, like, if I would have just looked up under that volcano and seen like the trees and the rock and everything, I'd be hunting right there. I would have
Yeah.
never known.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people going to Hawaii don't know, like, up in those mountains there might be
There's
some
axis
hunters,
deer.
and there's
Yeah.
axis deer, like a lot, right?
Yep. Yeah.
What's the herd like in Maui?
I honestly don't really know like the numbers
Yeah.
per se, but there is a lot. Where we hunt, it's all free range, and we've been managing it for the last 25 years. So it's like a healthy herd, but not overpopulated, I would say,
Okay.
because you have to have a balance, right, with the plants and both plants and wildlife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. You also said something kind of introducing yourself that people come as strangers but leave as, what did you say, as family?
Family. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so true. Like you guys are incredible people. That doesn't happen with just anyone. How does that come to be? You tell me about your parents, tell me about your family. What makes it that way? Because everyone that I've sent over there comes back saying, incredible family. I can't believe how we were treated. What was being raised by Rodney and Don like, and what was your
I am so blessed because, and when you're growing up, that's just normal, right? But when I got older, I really got to see like how special my childhood was because there's not many kids who basically grow up in a hunting camp, right? And so from a young age, I would be out there with my parents helping them, whether it was like opening gates or holding back legs for deer, like when they're skinning it out, or helping my mom in the kitchen. But my parents they wear their heart on their sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are so genuine, and they want to make sure that people have this genuine experience. And I feel like that's one of our goals with Maui Hunting Safari is we want people to feel like not only like have a great hunt and be successful, but like feel like better than when they arrived,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
100%.
And just like the culture of Hawaii too. Like my dad isn't Native Hawaiian, but my mom is.
Okay.
So being on the land that like people before us walked on, we try to like if we see house sites and stuff, we try to like point them out so people understand that like people were here before us and there's a history there, which is really special too during the hunt, I think.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Where did your dad grow up?
He is from Maui. He's seventh generation in Hawaii.
Okay.
There's a lot of like Portuguese influence in Hawaii from like sugarcane. They came on boats,
Okay.
so it's pretty cool. Like my dad's brother, my uncle, ended up like tracing it back to like what boat my family came on
No
like
way.
7 generations ago, which is really
That's
neat.
awesome.
Yeah.
So you said your mom is native to Hawaii, but your dad not?
They're both native to Hawaii, but my mom is like native Hawaiian. Like her bloodline is
Okay.
Hawaiian.
I
Yes.
see. I see what you're saying. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. What is it about like your mom first and then your dad? Like what are the things that you've loved most or learned most from each of them?
They are like the most hardworking people, and I think for my mom, she kind of has this sense about her that she kind of like likes to be behind the scenes. If you know, like you've been there, she's like cooking, but she plays such a big role, and she's like that person that like maybe the hunt is you're having a hard hunt, and I can always go back, and she'll just somehow like keep everyone grounded and be like, just let it happen, everything's gonna be okay, like it's all gonna work out. And then my dad is just like this really tough hardworking guy who's like, we're gonna keep going until like we are successful, and we're gonna make sure that everyone has a great time. And it's really special to have that too, kind of like my mom like let's just let it happen, and my dad like let's keep going, because it's different but it's also a great balance.
That's awesome. Do you find yourself like in between both of those, or
I
where?
try to. I always say like God has a plan. Like if like during a hunt something's not working out, like that wasn't meant to be. Like there's obviously something better or a different experience that we're supposed to be after. And then so yeah, I feel like, but I'm also going to work hard to make sure that we are successful.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. So God has a plan. I love that you bring that up. What has faith meant to you during this, growing up there in Maui, hunting, now as an adult doing the thing, you guided me on my Axis hunt. How has God played a role in your life? And has that been something from childhood with your family?
Yep. So I grew up going to church. I still go to the same church that I went to
Cool.
as a kid. And honestly, I feel closest to God. I always say like God spent extra time on Maui because it's especially like where we hunt, like it's so untouched, and like you have the ocean on one side and this like mountain that looks like it's photographed or something like a painting, and it's just like I feel so like I have my best conversations with God out there, and I feel so lucky to have that, especially like today as an adult. Like I feel like God has a plan. And when I went away for college. I went to college in Oregon, and the summer after I graduated, I remember I came home, and I had kind of a lot of intention to go back to the mainland to get a job and like do my nursing thing. And I came back home, and I remember I guided a hunter. His name was Aaron, to this really awesome buck, and we had to like run, and the buck was I saw the buck walking away from us, and I was like, come on, let's go. That's a big buck. And it was like this really big excitement, and he ended up shooting it. And I remember I was looking at the buck and like looking at the ocean, and in my head I was like, I'm crazy to ever want to leave this. Like I'm so blessed to be a part of this, like people's memories in business with my parents, and like on this beautiful island. Like I have like the prettiest office ever. So I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, I once heard a guide say, "Hey, you have a picture of my office in your office."
It's true.
It's like
Yeah.
a lot of people have pictures of your office
Yeah.
and your view in our own offices, and so that's really cool. So was that the moment that you were like, I'm staying here?
Yeah,
And
I remember I went back to like the cabin, and I went into the kitchen with my mom, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna go back. I have to figure out how to ship all my stuff home, because I just need to figure it out and find a job here, and it'll all work out. So, and it did.
How was your mom when you said that?
I think secretly she was really excited. Obviously, they didn't want to like make me feel like pressured into
Yeah.
doing anything, but in that moment, I was like, I'm literally living the dream right now.
Mm,
Like, there's so many people that like it's such a privilege to be able to spend so much time in the outdoors,
yeah.
and like for us, I'm guiding 3 to 4 days a week, which is so special. Like,
Yeah.
there's not like year round too, so it's yeah.
Is your season there is pretty year round then, or?
Yeah, so for the goats and the pigs, it's year round. And then for the axis deer, they have their antlers basically from April through September. Like right
Okay.
now, they're dropping
Okay.
antlers. So, yeah.
Okay. Do you do shed hunts with those, or is it like?
Yeah, we have some hunters pick it up and it's fun. And then I always pick it up for my dog, Cody. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's so cool. No, really, really awesome. Your parents are amazing. They're what you. I witnessed what you're saying. You know, your mom in the background, making sure everyone's taken care of, and kind of cheering everyone up, and hey, things are gonna happen, keeping the mood positive and all that. Not that there was ever a negative mood in the camp. I
Mhm.
don't know how you could. I remember pulling up and seeing like the views from this angle down to the ocean, and then looking up at this mass. It's a volcano right there,
It's a
right?
volcano. Yeah.
And just looking up and thinking, wow, I can't believe I've got all this surrounding me. And a similar thought of like, look at what God created in Maui.
Yeah.
I think he did spend a little extra time on
Yes.
on his creations there, and just giving us something picturesque and something that would like just cause us to be in awe at what he does for us.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I experienced that with your mom, and then your dad with just the hard work, the perseverance, the let's get through this, let's make it happen, wanting to make sure that everyone has the hunt that they desired when they're there for the time that they are. And then the terrain, the animals, you're an incredible guide. And I'll always remember hunting with you. And we hunted all three when I was there.
Hmm.
Truett and Dallin Isom both did the pig with the knife, like the
Yeah.
traditional hunt with the dogs and the
Yeah.
knives. And I don't know if you remember that. There was like, I was supposed to do that. I was super
And then we
excited.
stayed back because we're trying to get you your buck, I think.
Yeah. Well, when we first got there, and I think I hadn't told Truett, and that is what happened. We got my buck, but I hadn't told Truett and Dallin that I had ordered the pig hunt for the traditional hunt for myself.
Yeah.
They were gonna go for the buck and the goat, and then somebody said, "Hey, the dogs are coming tomorrow for the tradition." And I saw both of them get. They're like, "Seriously, we get to do that?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh." And so I just thought, they are so excited. Let's let them do that,
Hmm.
And then we went after my buck, and it was incredible to see. And that was hard work they had to put in to get those pigs as
Yeah.
well.
It's an adrenaline rush too because, it's really similar in some ways to like mountain lion hunting in the mainland
Hmm.
because you're watching, which is my favorite part is watching the dogs work. Um you can see their excitement and
Yeah,
they love it out there, right? And then once the dogs bay up a boar, that's when they
that's what
bark.
it's
They
called.
don't bark on like trail like
Okay.
mountain lion like hounds would. And then you're like in there, you're in their space. It's an adrenaline rush, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often do you have people that do the traditional, or is it more rifle?
Mainly for the pig hunts, we try to do it the traditional way with the dogs and the
Okay.
knife, just because of the terrain. You can cover a lot of more ground with the dogs,
Okay.
and the pigs, like the grass, a lot of times is higher than them, so it's harder to really
Mm,
spot and stalk a pig.
okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. How dangerous is that for the dogs? Do you have dogs that get injured and?
Every so often we will, but we try to keep it as safe as we can. So they have like their like leather Kevlar
Oh,
like
that's right. I
collars
remember
on.
that. Yeah.
And we're trying to get their fast rates. That's why we kind of have a lot of guides,
Okay.
like a lot of people on the pig hunts, so somebody can get to the pig. So the time with the pig and the dog alone is
Okay.
cut, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. There was a ton of goats there. I remember
Yeah.
just thinking like there was one evening we went out and along like this ridge side. I don't know how many would you typically see in a big herd like that?
I like to say like in a day, like if it's the summer, which is when you guys came
Yeah.
and it's dry, everything's kind of looking for water and
Mm.
food, right? So it's not uncommon, and people are going to think I'm exaggerating, but it's not uncommon to see like 6 to 800 goats a day. And everything is moving, right? They're grazers, so they're
Yeah.
moving across this mountain, and it's free range. So just because you see a big billy today doesn't mean you're going to see
Yeah.
him tomorrow. So
Yeah.
it's a tough hunt, and they live in the lava flows. Like I think
Yeah.
your billy was in the lava. I know Truett's for sure was in the
Yeah.
lava
I
that
remember
day.
Truett's. We were all together for
Yeah.
his, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Downs, I think, did we sit above water? I
Yeah,
can't remember.
we sat like up on a we were on a hill, and the goats were like crossing to get towards the
Yeah,
water.
that's
Yeah.
right. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Yeah, no, where do those goats come from? What's
They're
the
Spanish goats. So they were brought in like the late 1700s by Captain Cook, who was one of the first like voyagers to Hawaii. And he had given, I believe he had given the goats as like a gift to the
Mm,
Hawaiians, but there was no like fences or anything. So since then, the goats have literally been roaming free on the
mm,
island of Maui, which is really neat. The history and the amount of generations that the goats have been there for.
yeah. Wow, that's
They're
awesome.
really a part of the land at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, is there a lot of public land there in Maui that people hunt? Is there a lot of hunters in Maui?
There is a lot of hunters, a lot of axis deer hunters. Obviously, is like a kind
Right.
of really exciting, and then there's a lot of the pig hunters. A lot of local hunters will love doing the dogs, the
Yeah.
traditional style of hunting. And there's a lot, not a ton of public access, but there is public land that
Okay.
people hunt on, and a lot of people will hunt on different private areas too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's incredible. Tell us about the history of the land that you guys manage and are on where we hunted with you guys.
Yeah. So,
Because you talked earlier about like you try to take time to, and there's conservation with the plants and there's stories behind the buildings that there's just ruins and such, and yeah, and I know when Keith came back from his hunt,
yeah.
he had taken all that in and had asked a ton of questions and wanted to understand the land and the people that were there before. Share a little bit about the
Yeah.
history there.
So where we hunt is it's hard to believe now, like looking like when you're there, but it was one of the most populated places on Maui
Hmm.
in the ancient Hawaiian times.
Really?
Yes. So there's actually so many house sites and so many, it's called heiaus, which is where they did a lot of their like sacrifices for their plants and their farming. And so we try to point those areas out when we see them because it's cool because, you know, it's still standing, a lot of them, not necessarily like there's no roofs on them,
Right.
but like the structures are still there,
Okay.
which is really neat. And just like the history behind like that someone walked here before us, which I think a lot of times is like crazy to think about because like there's no one here now, and you feel like I'm the first one that walked here, but
Yeah.
really like who knows how many people have walked in this land before us,
Wow.
which is really neat.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And the being right under the volcano, and obviously you're hunting on a lot of volcanic rock. When was is that volcano's not active, right? Or is it active?
It's like sleeping.
It's
like
sleeping.
Dormant. Yeah.
When was the last time that it?
I am not sure. Like probably like 400 to 600
Okay,
years
so
ago, if I had to guess.
it's been a long
Yes.
time. So
Hopefully, it won't wake up anytime soon. But
do they? Yeah. Is that ever a fear, or is it?
I mean,
Or do people not really fear that?
I don't think my circle of people don't really talk about it waking up or anything. But it's definitely like you see the Big Island, volcano is very
Yeah.
active. So it's like definitely a possibility that something could happen. But yeah.
Huh, wow. Yeah. That it's interesting I've got bad ankles, so I remember going over there and thinking I've got to watch every step because it's some rough terrain,
Yeah,
right?
like I will be honest and say that I fall down on every single hunt because I'm kind of like a revolving head. Like I'm trying to look for
Yeah,
animals.
you're not looking down all.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I always tell hunters like if they fall, like don't be embarrassed because you're gonna see me fall like 10 times. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. That's really cool. And then would you say that Axis is like the main hunt, or
Yeah, I think especially right now, like everyone's really excited about axis deer.
and why is that?
I think it's just gotten really popular and the meat is really good. Like,
So
the
good, huh?
venison is like, in my opinion, it's very similar to like elk or something.
Yeah.
It's not gamey at all. And I think it's just like on social media, axis deer hunts have gotten really popular. And Hawaii is one of the only places that you can really hunt them free range,
Yeah.
which is exciting too.
Yeah, I was in Molokai this last year, and I was wishing I was over with you guys.
Yeah.
I was like, it was fun. It
Yeah.
was actually really fun, difficult, and there was a lot of fawns and does. I didn't really see many bucks. But it was just difficult, and I wasn't with the Pereiras. So I was like, oh man, my experience from before just wasn't the same. It was good. We were with the Hush guys and a few different friends, but different experience. I definitely can't wait to get back over to Maui with you guys. And I know I've been talking about it to bring a family over at some point. I
Mhm.
really want to try to make that happen, because that's one of the hunts where I go on hunts and my family obviously wants to know about it, and I take them on certain hunts with me. And the one that they're like always like, well, when are we doing Hawaii? When are we doing
Yeah.
Hawaii? So at some point we'll be over there with you guys. But um, axis deer hunting. Tell us about it. Obviously there is some social media around it. People are experiencing it more. The meat is incredible. I would. I don't. I would say yeah, kind of like elk or whitetail. Just no gamey nature
Mhm.
to it. Um, but what is it about axis when you're actually hunting them, especially in the rut? Like what's that like?
I would describe an axis deer hunt. If you've never hunted axis deer, it's in some ways it's similar to elk hunting because axis deer are really vocal, right? So
Mhm.
you hear them roaring. It's like this loud roar that kind of like
Can you
makes
do one right now?
no,
No.
no, but you can kind of get like goosebumps right
You
when you
can't,
hear it, and you
yeah.
can kind of like some people like may call it aggressive, but sometimes if I can hear a buck roaring in the forest, like I'm gonna start try and find that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to that roar to see if I can find them. And then it's also tough too because there's so many eyes. They travel in herds. They're very
Mm,
like social animals, I guess, right? So a lot of times, like you're trying to get to the buck, but there's like 12 does in front of the buck, and they're all barking at you, and they do like a loud, piercing bark that
yeah.
alerts everyone. And it's tough, and it's spot and stock. You're not just necessarily like sitting somewhere, you're in the lava, you're in their homes, right?
Yeah.
Like you're in their bedding area and you're trying to get them in there, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I remember hearing that for the first time. It was really like the chills, like, oh my goodness, I've not heard something like that
Yeah.
before. I don't How would you describe it? Is it like a bark or like what you call a roar,
I would say like the axis
like
deer,
grunting or something, or
like the buck's roar, it's like a
yeah.
ah, like it's like a
Yeah.
loud roar. And then the does, they'll like bark more like a dog, like a
Yeah.
piercing bark that kind of like stuns you a little bit,
Yeah.
especially if you don't know, like one sees you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I remember you guys telling me, I can't remember if it was you or your dad before we went out. They're like, "Hey, these things don't die easy.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they're hard. You hit them and you think you've got them, and
Hmm.
then they just and there's some animals I've hunted that are very docile, and they're like it's just,
Yeah.
and then there's others that just fight for their life, and
Hmm.
this was definitely one of them. Why is that typical on most of these hunts? Is it like
Yeah. So my mom has her kind of like her welcome speech right when you get to
yeah,
camp, and she
maybe it was
always,
her that
yes,
shared it.
she always tells everyone like, please, like if when you shoot at an axis deer and you hit it, please reload and get ready for a follow up
Mm,
shot because axis deer are tough, and it's like I don't know if they're it must be like in their genes, right? Like they're from India. I don't know if they like. I would assume their predators are like tigers and stuff in India,
mm,
right? So they're just tougher animals. They're in the lava, which they're running in the lava,
yeah,
which makes them tough as it
yeah,
is. And their ability to just take a bullet is crazy. Like I always tell people, like if it's still moving, please, like you're not going to hear me complain. Like I want to make sure that we're doing a clean,
yeah,
ethical hunt as much as possible,
yeah,
and I don't want any animal like suffering because we
yeah.
weren't ready for that follow up shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's so true. What caliber do most people hunters use there?
We typically, most people will use our rifle, and we
Mhm.
have a Gunworks 6.5 PRC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I remember that's what we used. And then do you have archery hunters as well?
We do for the bucks, as you saw, they're in big herds. It's
Mm-hmm.
tough,
Tough. Yeah.
and they are really spooky. Like they'll jump string really easily. Like their briskets will end up like almost on the ground a lot of times. So
Yeah.
it's tough. But if someone is willing to put in the time with us and just hang in there, like I'll usually take the archery hunters.
Yeah.
But it's you're up and close and personal with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's I noticed that because I hunted with rifle with you guys, and then in
Hmm.
Molokai it was a territory where they only allowed archery, and I mean they jumped the string like so fast,
Yeah.
and not the direction I was
Hmm.
expecting. And they're so turned on because there's so many of them, and they're looking at you and they're just talking, and so it was one of the more difficult hunts that I've had with a bow.
Yeah.
And so, but with you guys, I used your Gunworks rifle, and it was incredible. And I did experience that, like, that buck was tough. Like,
Hmm.
um, I think I can't remember which one of you spotted it. It doesn't matter, but we spotted it. We worked our way into the trees, and I got a shot off, and I felt like it was a really good shot,
Hmm.
and it went down. And then I was reminded, like, hey, reload, be ready.
Yeah.
And we sat there for a bit, and then we started moving forward. We were probably, I don't know, 15 yards from it, and that thing jumped up like nothing had happened, and it was going to take off. So I
Yeah.
had to be ready, and I had to get another shot into it. And it surprised me
Yeah.
that it was so ready to just move, and had taken the bullet the way it had. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I experienced what your mom had shared. We needed to be prepared
Yeah.
for, but tough animals.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, like, in their genetics, they've been hunted by tigers,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like, it's like, is it because, like, from, like, generationally, that's what they've been running away from, so that's, in my mind, I kind of think like that.
Yeah, you'd have to
Yeah.
be tough, in that
Yeah.
kinda. Oh, that's awesome. Do you have a favorite species over there to hunt, and how you like to hunt them, or?
I love guiding the axis deer, especially in the rut, because I love kind of chasing that roar. It's
Yeah.
like how people like will call elk in with the
Yeah.
bugle and they'll come
Yeah.
running in. So very similar, probably feeling adrenaline rush type of
Yeah.
thing.
What age were you when you first started? Like, you were there, a part of it all, but
Hmm.
when did you first start hunting?
So you can't start hunting yourself till you're 10 years old in
In
Hawaii. And
Hawaii, okay.
so basically the moment I could get my hunter safety card, I did. And
Okay.
I went out with my dad and I ended up shooting a velvet buck. And I still have it in my, like, at my parents' house in my childhood room, that buck mounted. And
Mm.
it was such a special hunt because I had seen so many other people and been a part of so many other hunters' hunts. And finally it was like my turn. So
Yeah.
it was awesome.
Is there a hunt or two there with clients that you've had that is just like, wow, this is one I'll always remember, or something
Yeah.
that was impactful?
Well, I think you guys know him, Mason.
Mm.
When he came with us, Mason was battling cancer for many years, and his dad had reached out to us, and we did a pig hunt and a goat hunt. And it was kind of like they only had like a very limited time because it was like a family vacation that they were trying to squeeze it in
How
on.
old was Mason at the time?
I want to say he was like 13 or 14.
Okay.
It was like in 2020, I think.
Okay. And so
Yeah.
for those that don't know Mason, and we've posted about him on social media, his dad actually just got a new tattoo. Did you see it?
No, I haven't.
And it's of Mason on
Oh.
his arm. And Mason's wearing a Mountain Ops hat in the
Oh,
tattoo.
that's awesome.
But Mason, I think he was 17 when he
Hmm.
passed away,
Yeah.
and just was that last year,
I think it was last year. Yeah.
of cancer, and battled it for years,
Hmm.
right? And so, okay, so tell us about this hunt with
So
Mason.
we hunted with the dogs for like a boar with the dogs, and we ended up baying a boar, and it kind of worked out perfectly. The spot that the dogs got him, and he ended up going in there and stabbing, and then he wanted to get a goat. And we there was a goat that was like a big black billy, and he had a white spot right behind his shoulder.
Mm,
And at the time, he was having issues with his vision,
mm,
Mason, and the goat was probably like 200 yards away. And so I was in my head, I was like, how are we gonna make sure that Mason is steady and he can like see it? Because he was like trying to mess with the scope. I
yeah.
was trying to help him. His dad was helping him, and all
Was
the
he mobile at the time? Was he
he
walking,
was,
or
yeah,
yeah? Okay.
yeah. And so we kind of snuck up the hill, and I set up the sticks, and we're trying to mess with the scope. And he kept saying, "I can only see white." And so I was like, Mason, like aim right for that
Wow.
white. And it's like God guided that bullet, and I don't know, like, God has a plan, right? And it's like God put that Billy right there with a white
It's a
spot
white
for
spot right where
Mason.
the.
Yeah.
That's
So,
incredible. I don't know if I'd heard that part of
yeah.
the story. Wow, what was that like for Mason and
I
his
mean,
dad?
I think it was really special for all of us. Like, I know one of our guides were kind of tearing up because it was just like nothing could have happened, like, been planned better
Mm,
for me for that hunt, and being a part of that with, you don't know how much time Mason had at that point. And so being there with his dad and sharing that experience and knowing that like he's gonna hopefully remember this forever, right?
mm.
So it was really special.
Yeah, I love witnessing God's plan, or God's tender mercies, or how He aligns things for our lives and for
Hmm.
our good, and especially for one of His sons who's suffering, and you don't know how much time, and that He would offer this gift and this experience,
Yeah.
and who better to do it through than your family, to give Mason and his father Kyle that experience,
Yeah.
And so I remember hearing about that hunt when, because he was probably there a year or two before we came over, right? Or maybe
Yeah.
3 years. I can't remember when
Yeah.
I came over, but, um, and, oh, that's just incredible. Those are the things where when you're out hunting and if you're in tune to that, and if you think a little bit differently on these hunts, you start to see how God kind of is working,
Hmm.
and not just in a hunt, but in life and in relationships. And he's there lining things up
Yeah.
for us in so many different details.
He has a plan, and we try to make plans, but he has a
Yeah,
greater plan.
he
He
does.
knows. Yeah.
Yeah, we just need to let him prevail, and his plan is so much better than we could conjure up on our own. Any other hunts that stand out?
Um, I mean, I feel like there's moments from every hunt, right,
Yeah,
that I'm like, this is really special. But definitely the hunt that I kind of mentioned earlier that kind of made me want to stay home and
yeah,
realize that was definitely a special hunt. I that was with I one of my favorite hunters that comes almost every year. His name's Aaron Brown, and he just has kind of like a similar energy as Mountain Ops, just
yeah.
like let it happen, like just this really great positive energy. And so I will always remember that too, like looking at that buck and looking at the mountain and being like, I am crazy to want to leave here. Like,
That's awesome.
yeah,
So then in that moment, then you're like, I'm staying here. You tell your parents, and you stayed.
yep. I got a
And
job
how long ago was that?
6 years ago. Like,
Okay.
yeah, right
And
at
you had
6 years.
gone to schooling for nursing, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm a full time nurse and
Yeah.
a full time hunting guide. So
Yeah.
like I don't have a lot of free time
Yeah.
and stuff, but I love living like every day like to the fullest. I feel like it's how I was supposed to be. I feel like I thrive in busy
Yeah.
situations.
Yeah. That's what would you do in a downtime? Like what would Emily be found doing?
You know, a lot of times people
Hunting?
ask me, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Everyone asks me what I do for fun. I'm like, I hunt. Like, yeah,
Yeah, is that what it is?
yeah,
On your property, you kind of go out and kind of
scout or
scout and
yeah.
just, yeah.
Hmm.
No, do you have any downtime to do that?
Well, we're kind of approaching our like slower season because
Yeah.
we don't have access to your hunters. But I mean, there's always something to do, right? You know how it is, like running a business. There's
Yeah.
always like for us we have a lot of new projects we're doing. So we're planting native koa trees and willy trees. So that's kind of been a new project that we're doing on the ranches. We want to leave the areas that we hunt in
Yeah.
better than how we found it.
Do you do that in this season of downtime? You go out and plant, or is there an
Yeah.
opportunity while our team's there hunting to help in that?
So that's our goal. We want to include our hunters in this experience. So hopefully, right now we have a lot of seedlings of willy seeds and koa trees, and hopefully one day we'll have, after a hunter shoots their buck or their billy, that they'll be able to plant a tree and leave a little piece of Maui.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. So what kind of trees are they?
It's called koa trees and then willy trees. So both of them are native. The koa trees are kind of more on like higher grounds. They're in the area that we were hunting pigs in with Truett and Dowling
Yeah,
guides.
there was the steep terrain and stuff in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the willy trees is the ones that almost the time of year that you guys were coming were there. I'm not sure if they had all the orange flowers on them, but they kind of bloom in the summer. And then once the flowers fall off, they almost look like they're dormant or like they're dying or something. But
Okay.
they almost look like a tree from Africa or
Oh,
something.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That's awesome. No, very cool. When you're so downtime, you're hunting.
Yeah.
Busy time, you're hunting, and you're taking care of people in the hospital. What kind of nursing do you do?
So I worked in urgent care for 6 years, and I recently switched over. So I'm in an operating room for a plastic surgery center
Okay,
now. So
awesome.
it's different, but I like it. I like to learn, so
Yeah.
it keeps me on my toes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then off the island, when you come to the mainland, what do you like to hunt?
I hunted elk for the first time last year, which
You got a big bull.
yeah, I got really lucky. And if I could hunt elk every single year, I would.
Okay.
But honestly, for me, like I have so much things that I want to like, I don't know, check off the bucket list.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of hunts that I want to do. I feel like I almost had like a second. I don't know if it's a second chance, but I have a pacemaker. And so I got that a few years ago. But that was like a really good wake up call for me that like life is short. And so I want to do all these hunts and I want to do them like with my dad. And while while we can, because tomorrow's never guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can tell you and your dad have this special bond, and this you guys are hunting partners. And what does that mean to you?
I mean, it means everything. Like, he's the guy that taught me how to hunt, right? So the fact that I can hopefully make him proud and one day, continue. In my mind, my parents have created this legacy, right? With Maui Hunting Safari, they've created this little mini, like it's like an experience, but it's like our entire world, right? This
Yeah.
company, and I hope to one day eventually take it over and continue this legacy and bringing people with us and being a part of more memories and showing them a piece of Maui that no one has seen, that God has touched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
So
incredible.
that's my goal.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mind sharing about the pacemaker and the help? When did you know that you needed a pacemaker? And
I was probably like 23 or 24 years old. I had complete heart block. So it's an electrical problem. And it's the top of your heart, doesn't communicate with the bottom of your heart.
did you just find that out one day, or did you know that
I
growing up that you had?
No, I had no idea. Like I've been an athlete my entire life. I played soccer from 5, like all the way through. And
That's right. You were a soccer player. You've got other, like Walter's boy, right? Is
yes,
yeah, big time
big
soccer
soccer player. It's like
player.
Hawaii, I feel like has really great
And
soccer
I'm a soccer player, so I
opportunities.
remember hearing that from you guys. I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that soccer was a big thing
Yeah,
over
it's
here.
big. So yeah, I played competitive soccer. Like I was on a traveling team. Like we traveled all over. So in my mind, if someone would have told me that I was going to have heart issues, I probably would have laughed at them, which
Mm,
sounds silly. But I think too, when we're young, we feel like we have all this time, and we almost feel like we're invincible,
mm,
right? And then when I always, for a while before I found out I needed a pacemaker, I kind of felt lightheaded and tired. But in my mind, I live at 100 miles an hour.
so you're just like, it's just my
It's
pace.
just, I'm probably not drinking enough water, probably not sleeping enough. Like, that's just life. And then one day at work, I felt really sick. And one of the providers was like, we should just do an EKG. And I was like, it's not going to show anything. I just didn't drink enough water. And lo and behold, I had complete heart block. And
At the top of the heart, you said?
yeah, so basically it's like an electrical issue. So the top of your heart doesn't communicate with the bottom of your heart. So it's not pumping effectively. So eventually, a lot of people who are in complete heart block end up having cardiac arrest.
Mm,
So like that could have been me, and so I always think that for some reason God, you know, let me find this problem, and it's
mm.
not necessarily like a great problem to have, but I'm thankful that we found it,
Yeah, the
and
fact that you found it instead of having something
it's really
kill you,
serious.
right?
Exactly. And it's like, I don't know if God has like a greater purpose for me here that hadn't accomplished yet. And that's why I've gotten this opportunity to, get my heart fixed, I like to say.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I feel great. And I wish I would have found out, a couple years before, because that was my baseline, and I had no idea
Okay.
that that's not how I was supposed to be feeling.
Okay.
So
Wow. So then you find that and what do they do for that then?
yep. So they put a pacemaker in, and it was funny.
Was it like an immediate thing
It
that
was pretty immediate. Like I was like, I had a mountain lion hunt, and I was like, well, I have a mountain lion hunt, so this is gonna have to wait. Like being me, right? And I was like, this is a special tag, like once in a lifetime tag I drew for mountain lion. I already have my flight, so this is gonna have to be after. And the surgeon on Oahu was like, hey, like you got to do this beforehand because you're already having symptoms. You may not come home from this,
wow.
mountain lion hunt. So I was like, okay, when we better do it then, because I didn't want to cancel my hunt. And so yeah, that's why I have all these like bucket list hunts that I feel like God is allowing me to go on
Mm,
with my pacemaker. And I feel like now I have like a second chance at life
mm.
and almost like an advantage over everyone because I have this little thing in my heart that keeps me going. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Is your heart good with that? Do they say like this, and how long do you have to replace the
Yeah,
pacemaker?
so eventually I have 6 years left on my battery life. So eventually they're gonna have to either, I guess with the type of pacemaker I have, they'll just replace the entire thing. Some people have like box pacemakers. I have like a leadless pacemaker, so it's tiny, the size of a pill.
Wow. And the
And
battery lasts how long?
10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do
So
they can they monitor the
yeah.
battery and how it's functioning?
So they have all these different things that I had no idea, even as a nurse. Like I've never really dealt with pacemakers in my nursing career, but there's like a little device that's by my bed that'll actually transmit to my provider on Oahu, so they know what's going on with my pacemaker, the battery life, and how often I'm being paced.
Mm.
And then I go in periodically during the year and they'll like interrogate my pacemaker. So like make sure the settings are correct. I feel good, which is honestly the biggest thing because I want to feel good and be able to live
Yeah.
my life.
Right.
So
And you've felt great with it. Has
yeah,
there been any complications with it,
there's
or?
there has been if the settings, especially in the beginning, you're trying to figure out like a happy medium, right? Like they want to make sure that you're not being paced too much, but that you're being paced enough. And so in the beginning, it was kind of like
And
a
what does that mean? That it's like either speeding up or slowing down the beat?
that, and then so I get paced. My pacemaker won't allow my heart rate. So before I got my pacemaker, my heart rate would be normally like even when I was sleeping like in the 20s, which is really low. Like a
Wow.
normal heart rate should be in the 60s.
Yeah.
And it's like I run every day, but still 20s is like really
Yeah.
low. So right now I'm being paced so my heart rate will never get below 50.
Okay.
So which I feel really good
Yeah.
at that. And yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow. So yeah, I didn't know all the details on that. What does it mean to you to have that? Because that it could have been something tragic.
Yeah.
I know you said that you feel like you have a second chance. Like what does that mean to you and your family?
I mean, for me it's like I said, I had a second chance almost at life. And then I don't want to just exist. I want to live
Mm.
because I can, right? Like I want to make sure like people are like, "Oh, you're crazy because like you work so much and you hunt." And it's like, but I'm so blessed with the opportunity to like do all these things and I want to work hard so I can do these things.
Yeah.
And like it could have been like way worse, right? Like I could have went into cardiac arrest
Yeah.
and not been here with everybody, which
Yeah.
I would have been really bummed about.
Right.
So
For those that are like struggling in their own lives and maybe things that are keeping them from like progressing or truly living, what advice would you give them as far as like this is a way that I go about life so that I truly am living? Because we've got a lot
yeah.
of people that listen in, they're trying to conquer more in
Hmm.
life.
I would just say like chase the things that make you happy as well. Like I'm really blessed in that I have a nursing job and yes, that's like work and I also have my hunting job, but that doesn't feel like work, right?
Mm.
Like I'm just chasing this like almost like an adrenaline rush, right? And it's just like I want to be a part of things and there's so many opportunities in life that it's like I don't want to miss out on
Yeah.
anything. And it was kind of like a wake up call, right? Because you feel invincible when you're young, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, next year I'll go on that elk hunt, or next year I'll do that mule deer hunt. But it's like, what if there isn't next year? What would
Wow.
you do? Like, if you could do any hunt this year, it's like, what would you like?
Wow.
I want to get those hunts done.
That's cool. That's a good question to ask ourselves, whether it be hunting or whether it be like an adventure with family
Mm-hmm.
or something, a relationship that needs to be built.
Yeah,
What if that is not there next year? What should I
yeah,
do this year or today or,
yeah,
this week? It's a good question to ask ourselves. What do you have some routines that help you like conquer more in life and be able to respond to opportunities that you want to go after, like
yeah.
that keep you kind of
Well, I drink a lot of Ignite.
okay?
That's my motivation. The first thing I do is I drink Ignite in the morning. But I try to like stay as active as I can. So every morning I try to run because a lot of what I do is involves a lot of physical
Yeah.
activity, right? Like and I think a lot of people see me, I'm a girl and a hunting guide. It's like I don't want to like put myself down, but a lot of people from the outside looking in is like, oh, she can't pack as much as me or she can't go as far as I
Hmm.
can. And that gives me a little bit extra motivation every
Yeah.
morning to like I start work at 7, so I'm up out of bed by 4:30 and I'm running in the morning like 3 to 5 miles
Wow.
just and lifting so then I can keep up with everybody, right? I don't want to be the reason why someone says like, "Oh, the guide couldn't keep up, so
Wow.
we couldn't weren't successful," or if I'm hunting elk or something, I want to make sure that I'm prepared and ready to like keep up with my guide.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
like when I went elk hunting last year, I practiced so much with my bow and I ended up not getting one with my bow. I got one with a rifle on the last day. But in my head, leading up to that hunt, I was like shooting every morning. Well, I was shooting my bow every morning before work and running and lifting. And in my head, I was like, I'm not going to be unsuccessful because I wasn't prepared. Like I was going to
Mm.
make sure that I was ready for this hunt. And if I wasn't going to be successful, it wasn't because I went into it not ready.
Wow, that's
That
awesome.
was kind of like my goal.
That kind of your thought process in life as well. It's like
Yeah.
to be ready.
To be ready, like at the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? So I want to be active and ready to conquer more, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's good advice for everyone. I mean, having a structure and a routine, I think the best time to do it, and some people aren't morning people, and so maybe you have to do it at a different time, but I feel like it's the best way to start a day
Hmm.
is, with some physical activity, taking care of, in my opinion, uh, the first part of the day is a great time of life and of the day to recognize God. And one way to do that is to take care of our bodies. He's
Yeah.
given us this gift. And so if we're willing to get up and show this is a priority, I'm taking care of myself so that I can respond and be ready
Yeah.
for the things that come my way this day. I've noticed a lot of times in life, and I'm pretty strict with a routine that way. I do a lot of prayer and scripture study, and then I do physical routine, and all in an attempt to start my day prioritizing God. And some people don't look at physical fitness as that, but I do. I feel
Hmm.
like our bodies are a gift, and when we utilize them correctly, we stand ready to respond to whatever comes our way, right? But I just feel like the days that I don't do that, there's this void. My mind isn't as clear. It's not
Hmm.
as sharp. But being ready, I think that's just a key to life because we don't know what will happen to us or for us. There might be opportunities that we aren't able to respond to if we aren't ready. So just
Yeah.
always being ready is critical. Were you that way before your pacemaker and such, or did it?
I would say yes, just because I feel like you played soccer your whole life, right?
Hmm.
Just as an athlete, right? You
Yeah.
kind of learn how to be structured a little bit to be successful and to be better than you were yesterday, and
Mm,
to get be a starter, right? You
yeah.
have to kind of fight your way through there, and I think that is it. But also, like, I like to feel accomplished. Like, I like to feel like I accomplished something before even getting to work,
Mm,
right? So it's like at least I checked one thing off the list. Like, I didn't just roll out of bed and I'm
yeah.
here. It's like I moved my body. I kind of did something kind of for myself and for my health, and now I'm here ready to take care of
That's
other
cool.
people.
That's really cool. That's awesome. And for your line of work in both and as a nurse and then as a guide, you're there to take care of people,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You guys, I don't want to go negative or anything, but have there been some hunters where it's just like, wow, this was not what I expected, or this was not the attitude that helps a hunt, or
You know,
and how do you deal with that as a guide? Because I'm sure there's people listening, they're probably not guides, but they have people in their lives that are
yeah.
just not going
Hmm.
about the situation in a positive way, and how do you counteract that?
I feel like in any line of work that you're in or any part of your life, you're going to have, someone like a like a bad day, right, at work, or
Hmm.
just like I don't want to say a rotten apple, but like a
Yeah.
negative person. But I feel like God gives us those people or those hard hunts or those moments that kind of like question. You're like, why am I doing this? So then you appreciate all of the good hunts
Mm.
that much more. And we actually had a hunter tell us that before, and that has stuck with me because that's so true, right? Like, it makes you appreciate the hunts with Trevor that much more. Like, that was such a positive hunt. Like, and it kind of just motivates you during those hunts. Like, I just got to get through this. It's going to be fine. We're going to get through it. We're going to be successful.
Mm.
And you know yeah,
I love that because it's like how do you truly understand the good without having
having a couple
felt the
bad.
bad, right?
Yeah.
The contrast makes the good so much more meaningful,
Hmm. Yeah.
and that's good advice for life and anything we confront because it's just gonna happen. Yeah,
Eventually you're going to hit a bad day.
yeah,
It doesn't, like we said, God has a plan, right? God
yeah,
is going to give you those hard days, and it makes you appreciate those moments and
mm,
those really great days
yeah. That's
that
cool.
much more.
That's awesome. Did your parents kind of instill that in you?
Yeah, yes. And then we actually had a hunter that came with us who was a doctor who told my dad that he
Mm.
asked my dad, do you ever have a day that like you uh not regretted but like questioned why you picked up this person in the morning? And he said, oh yeah, like not often but like every so often. He said, like, yeah, well, I have even patients like that, and God gives us those people to or those moments or those times, so then you appreciate all the good. moments that much
That's
more.
awesome. That's really cool. I love everything you're sharing. It's really wise counsel and advice that just it can be applied whether you're on the mountain or you're at work or you're at home or you're just associating with strangers along the path. But curious to know, is there anything new up and coming for Maui hunting safaris, or what are you looking forward to most with the business? And
Well, it's our 25-year anniversary this like next year, so it's really exciting and it's kind of like a milestone,
yeah,
right? And we're a small family-run business from Maui, but I feel like we are making like a splash in like the bigger hunting picture.
yeah,
So I'm excited just to see it grow and hopefully welcome, more people into our camp and share more memories and welcome back previous hunters because that's always fun too, right?
yeah,
And it's a family, the hunting
yeah.
family. So,
It does become that family. And for those that don't know, here at Mountain Ops, we do the hunt draw, and every year part of that is what's included is a hunt with these guys, and so we've been able to send. I don't know. It started before the hunt draw with Rihanna would hunt with you guys for
yep.
a long time,
Yeah.
and she was probably the one that connected us, right?
Yep. She
And brought
came.
Mountain Ops into the
Yep.
picture.
She came with a group of girls one year, and then right after that, I think you guys came.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that would be fun. My wife did a fishing trip with a group of girls, Eva and a few others
That
from
looked
the
really
office.
fun.
And maybe that would be because they were trying to find like what would be the next girls trip that we do.
Yeah. That would be fun.
That would be good. Yeah, and so our team's been sending people over. We'll send some more over this year, and hopefully more and more. Like as you guys expand and grow, that's one hunt that a lot of our team is like that. It's funny. The night before the draw here at Mountain Ops, I watched this board of like here's all the options for the year, and honestly, we a lot of them stay the same. Like every year, I'll add a few new things, but most of them stay the same because we found family in the hunts, right?
Mm-hmm.
We found these individuals that some members of our team get to experience, and then others are like, well, I want that same experience. So it's something to look forward to and to work towards. And so we try to stay with those that we found are just like family to us within the industry. And in my opinion, in life and in business and such, reputational risk is the biggest risk. And so for us, it's like associating with you guys is an awesome ad for Mountain Ops. It's the reputation that you guys have is incredible. I've never heard anyone say a negative thing about you guys or the experience they had or just the people you are. And so knowing we're associating with people with similar values and the way you treat people is incredible for us. But I watched that hunt draw board the night before. I cut it off at midnight, but right up until the moment people are shifting around, and I know there's points added to Maui all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we didn't just do the draw. We added it was conquer our internal Conquer 90
Yes.
winner, which was
Yeah.
Sarah,
Mm-hmm.
and I have yet to do a podcast with her. I did the one with Keith, and we talked about the hunt. Sarah, we need to do it because she was our internal Conquer 90 winner, and she won the hunt with you guys, which was her first hunt as
Yeah.
well. And she had an incredible experience. She came back emotional and grateful and everything, and it was fun to hear. But we'll do a episode with her as well. But it's so fun to watch all the points that stack up for Maui. People want to go and be with you guys.
It's funny because we didn't realize like we knew it was like some type of draw that
Draw,
you win this
yeah.
event, but then Tyson kind of explained to us like this how much like strategic planning goes into like how you put your points in and
Yeah.
all the way up he told us all the way up to midnight people are looking at this board.
They're looking at their odds like,
Yes,
well, if I put it
exactly.
here, who else is there? And could like, and would they do this next year? So maybe next year's better to put in here.
Yeah.
And so I watch things shift around, but there's some hunts that are like everyone's watching and stacking, and
Mm-hmm.
then you see some come away because they're like, well, there's no my chances aren't as great. The draw odds for Mountain Ops, the hunt draw, it's like 60% that you're going to win something that year, and then
Yeah.
those that don't draw go on we did a pheasant hunt this last week, get to go on something, and that's my attempt to help our team experience the passion that we're promoting and that we're fueling.
I love that you guys give people like your team members the opportunity to like go beyond the office, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
see
yeah.
like actually like using your products in the
Yeah.
field and seeing like what you guys are doing it for. And like for us it's really exciting. I know even like the people within Maui Hunting Safari, like we're a small company, but we have Walter and
Yeah.
Walter's kids, like they all drink Mountain Ops, and they're
Yeah.
always talking about it. Like, when does the Mountain Ops group come this year? They all want to be
Yeah.
there because like they use the products, and they're just like excited to
Yeah.
like meet the people behind the
So cool.
behind the hydrator, the Ignite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get back there, especially with my family. I've got fear of others missing out, so we create this, and then people draw, and I'm like, oh, that group gets to go to Maui this year. I wish I could go, and I just can't. I can't go, and I can't be everywhere. But I'm so grateful that our team gets to do that, and I'm honestly grateful that the people like your family and like Walter and other outfitters that we have chosen to work with get to see more than just the founders or get to see more than just the executive team, which a lot of times in an organization, those are the ones that are out and about doing those things.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone here has the
To do
opportunity,
something.
no matter where they're at in the organization, and they're growing and they're developing their skill sets in their career and their tenure here, they have opportunities. It could be somebody that just started this last year, actually Maui. So the way the hunt draw is, we've got a once in a lifetime, and then we've got a couple limited entry. So those that come to you typically had to have had more tenure here
Mm-hmm.
than others, or have won it through a Conquer 90. So Maui is at with you guys is one of our limited entries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's just a handful of limited entry, and then there's a bunch of regular entry. So we
Mm-hmm.
hold the Maui Hunting Safaris as like one of our prime, one of our most coveted
Oh, that's
tags,
neat.
and so those that get it, Keith, it was his first. Obviously, he's our CEO. Sometimes there's a little perk for being the CEO. He gets to
Yeah.
go. Um, Tyson had to. You have to have, I think, at least 3 years here at Mountain Ops before you can even put in for the Maui tag.
Oh, okay.
So they've been here sometime. Tyson, Tyson's awesome, and he had this lucky streak. I don't know if he told you about it, but he had won so many hunts in a row that everyone was like, "Is this rigged?" Like he gets Maui this year because the year before that he got Strawberry Ridge elk hunt, and he's had a few others. So when his name was drawn, everyone was like, "Are you kidding me? Tyson gets to go again." And then Sarah won the Conquer 90 challenge. But it is one of our coveted tags that people have to have some tenure here, have put in some work, been on the team for a while to even enter in for that
That's really
experience.
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then hopefully this year, Darren and his team, his sales team, are hopefully going to bring some people over, and I
Mm-hmm.
might be on that one with them.
Oh, that would be so
Yeah.
much fun.
So,
Yes.
and then at some point my family. But okay, we'll wrap up here in just a minute. Anything that I haven't asked that you were like, oh, I want to share this?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Just thank you for letting me be here and my family and treating us like family. It means a lot.
You guys are incredible, and you guys just showed up. I shared uh, some some thoughts about over the weekend. I had a couple rough days, and I shared with you guys, hey, here's some things that happened. Here's what I'm feeling, and all of you just had incredible advice and feedback and love and to share and support. And I'm just so grateful to have friends like you. It's meaningful for me. And when you find friends like your family, you want to hold on to that as much as possible. I wish that we were all closer so we could see each other more
Yeah.
often. This family's incredible. We were over in on the Big Island in, was that April or March? I can't
March,
remember.
I think. Yeah.
And we were holding a Conquer Hunger event, and they flew over to help us set up and take down and be there for the day to conquer hunger with us and pack meals.
That was one of the coolest experiences that, like, if anyone has an opportunity to do it, like to be a part or just like see a Conquer Hunger event, like the energy that was in that room, like from like setting up, it was like, oh, this is going to be fun. And then like when all of the people came in to actually like package the meals, and like the excitement and energy and how fast like that happened, like I I would be more than happy to do that. Like everyone that you guys got, I would go just
You're
because of
awesome.
like that energy is. It was amazing to like be a part of something like bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you guys were there. And it was the moment we knew we were going to do something like that in Hawaii, we reached out to you guys, and it was like, yes, we'll be there. You guys probably had to rearrange your hunting schedules and everything for us, but you flew in and you helped, and then you flew back to get to everything you have to do. But it just meant the world for us to have you there. And now to know that you experienced it, that's what we want people to experience and know from Mountain Ops. It's a different project. Like
Yeah.
there's something special and powerful about it that until you've actually been there and experienced it. It's not just come and we'll pack meals together, and it's like there is a special spirit and energy that
Yeah.
comes into the room,
Yep.
and it's palpable. You can
You can
feel it.
feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that invitation. Anyone listening, that if you have the opportunity to do so, please partake in that opportunity and that service. It's what we're about here at Mountain Ops. You know, a lot of us, we're out on the mountain and we're hunting for food. We're having experience. We're having connection. All of that. You know, but there's a lot of people that don't get those opportunities, and there's a lot of people that can't supplement for their nutrition, that don't have the means to do so, and they're just trying to get a meal or two. And I'm always kind of shocked and surprised at the need that there is. And on or we were on the Big Island. I can't remember the statistics completely, but it was a huge need.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was, but I remember when you guys shared it, I was like,
Yeah,
wow, like
yeah,
people's classmates. You have no
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all around us, and so we were grateful to have that occur over there on the islands, and to be a force for some good over there as well. But you guys are a force for good. You're changing lives. Every hunt, every hunter, every people that you interact with come away better for knowing your family and you. And so
Thank you.
thank you for that. Thanks for being such an incredible part of the Mountain Ops family. One last question, maybe. I don't ask it on all podcasts, but most of them I do. It comes from a book we read called "How Will You Measure Your Life," and that's what it's called. It's by Clayton Christensen. That's kind of my question: is when all is said and done, Emily, how will you measure your life?
Um, I I would hope that I want I want to be a good like disciple of the Lord, and help. I want people to feel good around me, and be a part of those memories, which is I think why I love being a guide and helping people in that sense. And I just want to live and not just exist, right?
Mm,
So if I can check things off those bucket lists while also like sharing, God's visions and God's, teachings with others and making people feel God from being around me or my family, then I feel like I would have had a good life.
mm. You're having a good life. You're
Yes.
you're doing such a great job. You're doing all of those things. So I would just commend you and commend you and encourage you to keep just being exactly how you are and who you are, because it's pretty incredible. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for being a blessing to all of us. Thank you for sharing with all those who are listening. Everyone, please like, comment, share this, subscribe, and get out to Maui and hunt with Emily and her family and check them out. I know that they're booked up a lot, but if you can find one of their openings, take advantage of it, and don't wait till next year. Don't wait till the following year. You never know. Like Emily's been teaching us, just take advantage of the moments and the experiences and the opportunities as they come our way. Be prepared and be ready for those.
Awesome.
And conquer more.